Hello, my name is Sean Stennett. I've lived in Colorado Springs all of my life and watched it grow. I've worked in marketing for much of that time. Let's cultivate a marketing community and tell their stories. This is Marketing Colorado Springs podcast. Introducing Jack Hebert with Ragtag Studio. All right. Well, hey, Jack.
Hey, how's it going?
Here. Good to reconnect.
Oh,
Jack and I met on LinkedIn, the ocean of people in marketing world, and we just happened to be in the same town. Jack, tell us a little bit about Ragtag before we get started here. Kind of introduce yourself to the world.
yeah, absolutely. My name is Jack Hebert. I am the creative director for Ragtag Studio. We are a local creative marketing agency. We specialize in video campaigns, photography, and graphic design. But really, I like to say those are just the tools in the toolbox, and the box that holds it all together is creative strategy. We're in the business of telling stories that matter. I am one third of the partners at Ragtag. It is myself and two others, and then we work with a team of contractors outside of our current abilities. So. Yeah,
Nice,
that's a little bit about us. We're about a year and a half old. We started at the very beginning of 2024.
nice, nice. And so before that though, how long have you been in this industry for?
I finished up, I got my undergrad in design and marketing strategy from the University of Minnesota, Duluth in 2020, and have been working really in the industry since 2017. While I was undergrad, I was working in the marketing strategy space in internships and freelance work. And then upon moving to Colorado, I've worked for the city, I've worked for Visit Colorado Springs and for various nonprofits in the marketing strategy space. And then in 2023, I was hired by an agency to be a creative director. That agency ended up pivoting towards some political consulting work. And so that really birthed Ragtag. As that agency took a turn, I decided that I was interested in starting something new. And so the Ragtag pieces of that agency formed what we are today. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I've been in marketing a long time too, and it's so cool when somebody wants to take their idea and make it their own baby and kind of spread their wings and see
yeah,
what happens. So,
totally.
so yeah, well, before we really get into the meat of Ragtag, I'd love to rewind a little bit and see what kind of kid you were growing up. What were the early signs you'd maybe build your own digital data business empire?
Yeah, totally. Empire. I don't know about Empire, but
Well,
yeah,
we're working on it.
we're working on it for sure. Ever since I was a kid, both my parents were artists. They met in fine art school, and I grew up with an art studio in my parents' basement, and both my parents were sort of, had really entrepreneurial visions for life, and so I think from age like 12 or 13, I like started like a shoveling company, like where I'd shovel people's driveways in Minnesota. And I really loved like just the idea of starting things. And so I ran a bunch of small businesses through high school. I had a senior photos photography business from my junior and senior year that helped pay for college. And so there was always signs that this would be my path.
That's
But I really think it was probably in 2017, 2018, where I was starting to work in the creative agency space as an intern and hauling gear and carrying things, where I was like, this is where I fit. This is what I want to do for the long haul. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So as we fast forward, what specific systems or tools or processes have made a big difference for you and your agency productivity? Is there specific like softwares or gear that you use, or what's that look like?
For sure. I mean, I think the best tool that we use is consistent relationship building, right? Like, there's all the tactical tools. We use a lot of softwares, those types of things.
For
But
sure.
at the end of the day, we like to build consistent, highly relational types of partnerships with our clients. So I'd say the best software is getting a beer once a month with my clients. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but on top of that, we use a lot of task management tools. We use tools like Basecamp for task management. We use tools like frame.io for content editing and video production. Of course, we do a lot of creative development, so the full Adobe suite is something we use a lot. And we also, get real nerdy with our Google Drive storage systems. And
Right.
I'm a systems guy. I get way into the file sorting and stuff like that. So anyway, those are kind of the main ones. And of course, there's a myriad of other one-off things we'll use for certain projects, but that's kind of the main.
Sure. I'm just curious. Some of our team uses Figma. Do you guys have anybody
Yeah.
that use that? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, we kind of pivoted. Ragtag used to work in the web dev space a lot more on that front end side, especially. And we will occasionally still take on those projects, but we've really pivoted to our three primary pillars being design, branding as one, and then photography and videography. We really do a lot of ad campaign development these days. And so a lot less work in Figma. I'll still use it for framing stuff or wireframing, but great tool. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's something that I've kind of been turned on to
Yeah,
recently. But I'm a dinosaur, I like my Adobe stuff and it's hard to teach them.
great. It's hard to leave it, man.
All right. But yeah. Well, anyway, so okay, what are some top mistakes business owners make when trying to build efficient, high-performing campaigns or projects? Um, do you think there's stumbling blocks or
Yeah,
I'd
for
love to
sure.
hear your thoughts on that. Yeah.
I've probably made most of the mistakes.
Yeah. Here, here.
But I think that the number one thing that I see as a pitfall for campaign development, especially, is trying to do too much in one thing. Trying to say too many things in one campaign, trying to show too many things in one brand package, trying to say too many things in one newsletter. Like that's where we all get caught up, right? We're communicators at heart, we're storytellers.
Yeah.
And as a result, sometimes we ramble. So I think that the largest pitfall is not making our marketing messaging strategy singular and articulate. And then on top of that, not doing a good job calling people to action. It's kind of the age-old marketing thing, but if we don't call people to action, they don't do anything about what we're communicating. So
Oh man, so true. I just wrote a blog about that,
yeah,
to and there's specific like nuance to that too, where it's not just like, hey, click here.
yeah,
There's so much more fun things we can do in marketing nowadays, and I love a team that will like explore those ideas and be fun and kind of edgy with stuff even.
yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, how would you describe the culture you've built with Ragtag? And how does it align with your personal values and mission?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. I could probably talk too much about this, but
Right. My dad's a preacher. You could,
yeah,
but maybe 3 or 4 bullet points.
I like it. 4 bullet points. I
Cool.
think that we are a highly collaborative team. That's one of the core values. Ragtag was started by myself and one other partner before we brought our third partner in. And we were all about this idea of integrating into our client's business, not operating as like, this completely independent entity. We like to say that if we're a part of the journey and we're a part of your marketing story, we're going to do a far better job communicating together as we understand what you're actually trying to say instead of just, asking questions in one meeting and then spitting out a campaign in the next. So that's one thing that we've really built our business around is for the most part, a lot of our projects are retainer built relationships with our clients where we're working consistently on projects throughout the year. Of course, there are one-offs, but even in those one-offs, we would call ourselves a partnership focused agency instead of a project focused agency. So we really try to partner with our clients in telling a story. And that being said, I always try to communicate this whenever I'm pitching a client on a project, but we're not going to try to emulate your voice. We're not going to try to speak on your behalf. If we've done our job well, we think of it as not us talking into the microphone, but actually holding it into your face for you to do the talking. So that's one thing that we've really uh, built as a core value is this idea of letting our tools be facets in which our clients can speak authentically. And then lastly is, we work with people that we believe in. We
Right.
don't exclusively work for nonprofits or anything like that. We do a lot of nonprofit work, but We just believe in people that are doing something impactful in the business space. We like to say that we're in the business of telling stories that matter, and we like to build friendships with our clients. I am not the world's most formal creative director. Like I said, I think the biggest software or tool that we use is consistent relationship building, getting a beer with people.
Yeah, yeah.
I would consider, I got married last summer and I invited like
Congrats.
six of my clients to my wedding because
Yeah,
they,
see, there you go.
yeah.
That's
So that's something that we've really cared a lot about is like friendships, man. Like we care about building friendships with people.
Dude, that's so great. I really like what you're saying too, is like you team up with people. Something sometimes tell clients is like, hey, I'm your cheerleader. Like,
Yeah,
this is
totally.
me taking your baby and like cheering you on to the world and just showing you off, and
Yeah,
what are you
100%.
capable of? Like, let's hone into that and let's work together. The
Mhm.
best thing we can do is create a collaborative space together. So I
Absolutely.
really like that. I resonate with that. Right on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool to hear.
Yeah, yeah. So you're talking about growth, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, what steps do you take? You just took another partner on. You're kind of growing. You're getting more 1099 people involved, and so how can you ensure your agency's culture doesn't erode as you scale
Yeah.
this authentic kind of emulation, personal development, relationships with your client. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's a great question. If I had the total formula, I would probably be a far richer man than I am. But
All right.
um I when we started Ragtag, I was meeting with a business mentor of mine who has started and sold like several tech companies and done really, really well. And I was like, okay, this is a cheesy question, but like what's the one thing that, we should do? What's
Yeah,
the one piece of business advice that you would give? And kind of like expecting like a, kind of cliche, like whatever.
antiquated. Yeah.
But his answer was super profound and has been the total thing that we've built our business off of, which was he's like, everybody gets lucky. He's like, everybody who starts a business gets one, client that's above their pay grade
Yeah.
or gets in with somebody because we've built relationships in the community, et cetera, et cetera. And he said,
Yeah.
when you get lucky, when you get your one client, you go above and beyond in every capacity to make them as happy as you can. You serve them in spaces, you're generous with them, you overextend yourself, right off the bat so that they know you're in it with them.
Yeah.
And those relationships are the ones that help foster a positive business trajectory. And so, we've done that with all of our clients. We've tried to do that with all of our clients, but we have a few of these really long-standing retainer clients that we've built relationships with over the last year and a half and are
Mhm.
going strong, and we hope will continue to go strong. And so it's really that idea of like not to toot our own horn in this, but it's really about like just us serving them, us going above and beyond.
Yeah.
Um, we have contracts, right? Like we're not fools in
Sure.
the business
Right.
space. We need to have legalities and parameters around our relationship, but like taking a little bit of extra effort to just like, I mean, sometimes it's bringing coffee to a meeting, which is like the small potatoes, and sometimes it's like doing a shoot for free. It's like, oh no, that didn't quite fit the need that you thought it was going to fit. Let's reshoot that. Let's not charge anything for it.
Yep.
And I wouldn't like,
Yep.
recommend that in every case. That takes wisdom to know when to do that well. But
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, a certain amount of discernment when to hand out a little bit extra and when to kind of be like, hey, we care.
right,
Like that's
right.
the idea is we care about this project just as much as you do. We want
Yes.
to put our best foot forward. We'll spend the time to make it awesome.
And of
So
course, that advice can get you into a hole too. I mean, if you're if you're not careful with it, you can end up, really screwing over yourself, your team, and your client by saying yes to everything. That's certainly not the attitude that we adopt. But it is to say that we do everything within our power to make them feel seen and cared for by us, even if that occasionally is going overboard. So
right, right, and I mean, you know. When you're in this industry, as long as you have been in myself, it's like you can smell it, right? You can smell when somebody's trying to scope creep you, like,
yep,
oh, well, you're doing
yep,
this,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. Don't
let's
like that.
yep, yep. Like, something smells fishy. Oh.
Totally. And it's a trust thing, It's like
Yeah.
I think those relationships, like I wouldn't extend ourselves ideally we wouldn't be in long-term partnership relationships with clients that are interested in finding every way to scope creep. That's not
Right,
good partnership.
right.
You know,
Uh,
it's with the people that we know and the people that we are invested in that we feel like there's some opportunity to
yeah,
step beyond our contract. Yeah.
yeah, and I think I mean exactly. You can snip that out in a very preliminary stage. You
Yeah.
kind of find it before you even get to the cutting room floor, so to speak. And
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No, for sure.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, so with that being said, along the lines of clients, what does your ideal client look like, and how do you go about attracting businesses like that, or is there an ideal client?
Yeah. It's a funny thought. I think there are a lot of folks that could fit into the parameters of being an ideal client. I would say an ideal client has a little bit less to do with industry specifics and a
Mhm.
little bit more to do with capacity for collaboration. Um, we are not a one size fits all agency. We don't use the same methods or the same strategies for every single project. I mean, that being said, we have a lot of systems built in,
Sure.
but we like to flex things and we like to dream up things with clients. And so, clients that are willing to kind of dream with us and get creative with us are oftentimes a really, really good fit. That being said, we do a fair amount of work in the tourism space. We work with quite a few entities, folks like Visit Colorado Springs or the U.S. Olympic Museum, or even the city of Colorado Springs does a lot of stuff in the name of tourism. We've worked in that space. We work in the outdoor industry space. We've worked with clients like Ultra Running and REI on a few projects and some of those things. And we really love that space. I mean, I'm a rock climber and a skier.
Yeah,
Love those things, right? Like that's
right.
that
Us
translates.
us Colorado people,
It's
oh
Colorado people,
man,
man.
I
It's great.
guess we're gonna have to go outside. Like,
Totally.
we love it.
Totally.
We love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, folks that are willing to collaborate and dream with us. And so that's in our marketing collateral, right? When folks visit our site, when they meet with us in person,
Mhm.
I'm not old. Like I'm a young guy. I'm in my late 20s and I don't look, a day older than 21. And so when I meet with people, I don't try to present as like this old sage. I have every, possible way of doing things. I'm like, no, I'm a young creative and I am passionate about this and I care about this. And I'm here to dream with you. I'm here to give your brand some youthful energy.
Mhm.
And if that works for people and that sticks with people, they know what they're getting right off the bat because I can't hide it very well. Um,
Yeah.
it's in sales. It's also in what kind of work we showcase, like when we send, clients examples of our work or our portfolio, we try
Yeah.
to showcase the work that we love doing.
Yeah, yeah, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. And I feel like as somebody that would be prospecting your type of work, I feel like you being a young kind of whippersnapper.
Yeah.
It gives you a cutting edge in the marketing space because you have an idea of what's hip and what's cool and what's trending, what's good to do on social media, what's good to do, in the video world, and what's going to work in the marketing world. Um, for some of these older guys, it's like, I don't want to spend money on social media. Oh
Yeah,
man,
totally.
oh man. Like we gotta get you on board here. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't. Or
Right.
even some of these guys, I don't know about web presence. Can't we just
Sure.
no?
Yeah, totally.
So I feel like it's an awesome thing for you to be a young guy, and I'm all about it.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's I don't have a lot of ways of hiding it, so I've got to,
Right.
got to play that foot forward for
Uh,
sure.
Just out of curiosity, has that ever slowed you down? Has anybody
Yeah.
been like, well, I don't know, you're too
I
young?
mean, like, I think that running a business has aged me more than I wish it has. But in the last couple of
Yeah, I
years,
hear
I think I've made mistakes, like a lot of
Yeah.
mistakes, and
Yeah.
I've seen people respond to those mistakes in ways that have been really, really generous to me,
Mhm.
um, and give me the benefit of the doubt. And I've also seen people respond to those mistakes by saying, "You're, a fool, a kid, like you don't know what you're doing in this space, you're imitating somebody. And so I think that it's a balance of this. Like I've learned so much and I have so much yet to learn.
Yeah.
But I do think our work speaks for itself. And I think our clients would also say that. So like I think that was, I mean, that it continues to be a limiting factor. When I go into occasionally I'll go into a meeting where I don't know somebody or I'm whatever, they don't have any context for who we are. Maybe we get connected somehow or I bump into somebody or whatever, they're just I can get written off. But I do think that when we show them our portfolio,
Yep.
get into some of the logistics and specifics about what we do and how it can serve them,
Yep.
and they speak to our clients or see our clients' testimonials,
Yeah.
I think those things speak for themselves. And so then I'm proud to be a young buck,
Yeah, right. Well, I
Definitely.
was gonna say it doesn't really matter. Like you're speaking the language. I've seen some of your portfolio, and by the way, man, I would love to see more. I don't know. We can kind of talk offline about that. But yeah, like your body of work speaks for yourself, and that's what I always tell people, young people coming up. It's like, it's all about your portfolio, man. It doesn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
matter.
no one really cares that much. Yeah.
Yeah, and like,
Totally.
and to like speaking the language, obviously you need to be able to be convincing, and not that you're faking it, but like, but know your stuff. And I can just
Totally.
tell, like, I would be so excited to work with somebody like you, and age is just a number at that point. Like,
That's true. That's that's what I tell
yeah,
them.
and and on the converse side of it, it's not like I'm holding on to anything, but I'm like young at heart too, you know. I still skateboard and snowboard and play in a
That
band
is awesome.
and do all the stuff that I did as a young 23
Yeah,
year old young man. And but I got kids that are doing it now too, and so it's just kind
I've
of
got to keep you.
split
Yeah,
up.
it's aging you and keeping you young at the same time.
Right, exactly, exactly. So young at heart, and then you, sir, are just young.
Just young. Yeah, young.
But you're tried and true. But last thought here. So you mentioned mistakes. Was there anything you did like early on that was like crippled you, or just like, oh man, I really need to learn from that?
Totally. I mean, I have a long list. Someday I'll be like a great business mentor for somebody who's in my shoes that's trying
Yep.
to make all the mistakes.
Dope.
Um, we've
Dope.
done a lot of things well, and
Yeah.
we've done a lot of things poorly, and I hope we're skewing more and more towards doing things really well for our clients. I think that the caveat to making mistakes as a young business, as anyone, I mean, truly,
Yeah.
but especially as you're young in the space and you're learning the game, is to own them quickly,
Yeah.
to own 'em quickly and to make them right. Like I have like taken a creative brief and then put my own spin on it in a way that I shouldn't have before. I can think of a couple projects where we were like, I think that they really want this, and then we produced that, and then they're like, no, and then I have been like, I'm so sorry. Like I extended myself. I thought you were gonna really like this. I'm gonna go back and I'm going to do this exactly how you'd like me to do it, and own the mistake and apologize and then make it right. So, I mean, there's been a lot of things like that, right? Early on, especially, that's not so much the case anymore. But there's mistakes too that are inevitable, right? I can think of clients coming in and scheduling something super like forgetting to tell us something on a shoot day or forgetting to add something when, we've got a really last minute, project,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things get a little wonky there. But I really think that it really comes down to owning the mistakes quickly,
Yeah.
being afraid to admit that you can make them, and then doing everything in your power to make it right.
Yep.
That seems to get me out of more trouble than I've put myself in for sure.
Right, right. It's funny, like I was just thinking about like my early fast food days, and we had this acronym of LAST.
Yeah.
Listen, apologize, satisfy, thank.
Yeah, I like it. That's
You
great.
know, I was
Totally
like,
fits.
well, that still works. Like, yeah, and I mean, dude, like communication is key, one, and just owning your stuff, man.
That's
Like,
that's so true.
just be real with people. You've established a great business relationship with these people already. So just appeal to reason and be like, hey, I
Yeah,
messed up, or man, I got
totally.
lofty with this. here we
Totally.
are. Let's backtrack. Let's regroup. So,
And I
um,
think the other one that I've seen us make, this one comes to mind, is in the early days especially, but really biting off more than we can chew. And when a client's like, "Can you do all of this and in this style?" And then in my head, I'm like, "Not right now, but I can watch a few YouTube videos and figure it out." Somebody early on in business was like, "You say yes to every project and then you figure out how to do it." And I actually don't think that's very good advice. I think it's better to be really good at the things that you do
yep,
and name those and articulate those, and then
yep,
say no to the projects that are outside of that scope. Because we end up building, we're all in this together. That's what, you're trying to create with this podcast and with this
yeah,
website is this sort of community, right? And when
exactly.
we as creatives extend beyond our capacity and leave a client dissatisfied, it leaves a really bad taste in their mouth, which only hurts, our peers in this space, right? If
Yeah.
if if I screw up, some design project, right, and a client leaves really bitter at me and they leave, but then you meet them 6 months from now and then you're pitching them on a concept, they're going to still have that taste in my mouth
Mm,
because I overextended myself and it has nothing to do with the way that you've
mm,
presented yourself. And so
mhm.
I think it's really honorable to articulate what you do well and then do that thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and then there's no over promising in that space. People know what they're going to get, and then the next person down the road can be a good partner to your client and serving them in the ways that you can't. So that's
yeah.
my other my other
That's so
mistake.
good. That's so good. Like, I'm a web designer and graphic designer. I've been dabbling in the world of video, but like, if I have a big time client and they're asking for this big production, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I could do it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
totally. I'll figure it out.
yeah, like help me out, bro.
Yeah.
These guys need this. Like, we can put our heads together. Or same for you, if you had a lofty web development project, like I have a
Oh yeah.
group
We'd
of
be getting
people
we'd
that
be
I
getting
could
coffee right away. Yeah.
network to. Or yeah, you too. So yeah, I totally feel you. And like one of my mentors said the same thing too. Like, fake it till you make it. You get the job,
Yeah.
you get the gig. You can fake your way through some web development. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, right, right. And there's, whatever. There's like some small, I think I love a challenge, right? And so sometimes a client will present me with a challenge and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be kind of hard, but we're going to do it and we're going to kick some ass while we're at it.
Right.
But then there's times where that's like a little bit beyond the scope of even what learning in a small amount of time can do. And
Yeah.
and again, we love learning and expanding our skill sets as business owners and as creatives, and I think there is time for that. I just don't know. I wouldn't argue that the time for that is on your client's dime.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree. Well, fantastic conversation here, Jack. I really enjoyed this. And
Yeah, likewise, Sean. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. So everybody go check out Ragtag Studio. They have they just do awesome work. Ragtag.studio, right?
Ragtag.studio is our site. I don't know when this will air, but we're about to launch a new website
Oh, exciting.
soon. Maybe this week if I get my stuff,
What,
get,
really?
get
This
my
week?
ducks in a row. Yeah, this week or next week.
Oh,
We're
how
we're about 90%.
exciting, Jack.
Yeah, so that and then we're on social media and
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's fun.
Do you have a YouTube where all your demo reels live?
Everything lives in Vimeo,
Okay. Okay.
which find that link on our website. So
Okay, cool. And I'll put it in the description on this video as well. And yeah, well, great talking to you, Jack, and getting to know you a little bit more.
yeah, like which one?
All right. Well, you have a blessed day here, sir. And over and out.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.